Anybody want an update? Not too bad, you're gonna get one anyhow. Hey, Captain 315 here, having a cold Miller Lite out in the garage, about 4 o'clock on Friday. I am on lockdown this weekend, self-lockdown. Miss Captain's off visiting the kids at college, so I got a weekend of myself, and probably won't go in the house except maybe to sleep. Definitely not gonna be any showers. Yeah, there's gonna be eating because there's a chicken on the smoker out there. We'll check on that later. Got a little fire going. See if I can do this without burning myself. Yeah, it's in the 50s here today. Not really necessary to have a fire, but it's taking the edge off because it's kind of damp. All right, enough of that BS. Let's get back to nasty. I got transmission in, got her up on blocks now since the sawhorses won't hold the weight of this thing as we start adding parts. And since I still don't have one of those proper selfie sticks and I don't have somebody out here holding the phone for me, Miss Captain's not a big fan of the tractors. Whatever, take it or leave it. She just don't care about it. I'm not gonna ask her to film for us. Blah, blah, blah. Anyhow, all right, what do we got here? Told you we're working on that skid plate, but why are these parts black and blue going on a Massey Ferguson? That's right, they're Sears parts. Yeah, the old Bear Suburban. This happens to be sitting right here. We're gonna work on that this weekend too. Right? Hey, those are leftover parts. There's a whole box of leftover Sears and wheel horse and cut-ups and junk. Folks, don't be concerned about going to the store or the metal shop and buying all this crap. If you've got some spare parts laying around, you know, preferably don't cut up anything valuable. But I'm still cutting up pieces of the battery box and the trailer hitch off the back of the frame on the Sears. Use that stuff. I mean, obviously, you know, if you're riding a Massey Ferguson, you want to grind that Sears paint off because, you know, it could reject it like an organ transplant or something. So, all right. Anyways, that's what we're working on. Don't be afraid to use up that scrap. These things aren't going to Barrett Jackson, right? Right. So there's a little tidbit. We just finished up the skid plate. Get a load of this. Overkill, yes, big time, but we're using this as a brace because this section of the frame here, even unassembled, if this was clamped down in the rear, I could flex it in the front, and it was right in here. There's nothing critical in this spot. It's all fish plated. Don't think it would be a big deal, but let's go ahead and we will kill two birds with one stone, and we'll go ahead and make the bash plate also a little bit of a frame brace. So, all right, it's day 2 of the lockdown. We made it till about 2:30 in the morning. Said heck with it. I'm gonna be 49 in a couple weeks. I can't do them all-nighters anymore. All right, let's spin this thing around and get back to nasty. So we worked on clutch pedal and arm. This thing had a real goofy arm that swung down like this. Anyways, we just wanted to shorten that up anyways. The VeriDrive system, we'll go over that in detail, but there's a lot going on in here for these pulleys. There's adjustments. You got your speed adjustment here, and you can see that rolls those pulleys back and changes the ratio on these sleeves. The downside of that is your clutch pedal moves back as well. So if we're running this thing in overdrive, look where that pedal is. I mean, it's gonna be up and about in my crotch. You know, small price to pay. We're not gonna be running the trails in overdrive anyways. This thing's gonna run 90% of its time in first or second. That clutch is pretty easily attainable. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna slot the running board, and then we're gonna just make a little cover for this. That's where the original deck lift arm went, and it's just silly. And Mr. Hot Lap was picking on me because when I had this at GER, 7-day build on this thing, I just cut the deck lift arm off right there and hacked it, and he was laughing his ass off. So this one's for you, Hot Lap. Scrap parts. I tell y'all, don't be afraid to use them up. It's old, I believe it's an old wheel horse belt guard or something. Got my YZ Wheezy battery, took my measurements, laid the Oppie up in here, and I was like, perfect. I'm gonna have just enough room for the battery right here. No, now I have to recess it back into the tower. Fuck! Welcome back, everybody. Took a little break there for a bit. It's February 16th. We're back out here in the shop, 10 o'clock in the morning. Got a little fire going. Yeah, always got to put that in there, right? Yeah. I told you this was going to be random snippets and tidbits and stuff like that. I'm still trying to keep a reasonable timeline. I honestly can't tell you what's going to be in the rest of this video. So we're going to start again today. Keep rolling. This is what we got going on. And I wish these cameras, you could push the button and flip it around. But you can't. Get my ugly mug out of here. So we're going to put a battery right here. See if I can do that. Right here, I left just enough room to mount the Spicy Oppie here. Let me turn that a little. So the Spicy Oppie's gonna go here, and there's gonna be just enough room for the battery. About a ½ an inch off. I'm not redoing the motor mounts and everything. So, plan B. We're gonna cut in right here a little bit. We're gonna lay that battery back into the tower. I can go a little bit if you look back in there. Yeah, I know. Pain in the ass. Anyhow, thank you to Creepy Crawler. I'm gonna try a Wheeze brand battery, Wheezy, YZ, whatever. It's got really good reviews. Creepy Crawler told me, he says, you can get it one of these small ATV batteries. Yeah, they're more expensive than a tractor battery, but what are you gonna do? You're gonna revamp the entire machine so you can fit a bigger battery to save yourself $40? No. This thing was only like 50 on, you know what site that is. Anyhow, so we're gonna give it a try. It's, we're gonna keep cutting here, get that battery relocated. Maybe I'll put a little bit of, put it up there on the potato holder. Y'all can actually see that I'm actually doing things out here. Yeah. Let me show you something here. We got the bottom plate built for the battery box. That's gonna sit in here. Might even be able to see it, yeah. Gonna sit in there like so. We're building a wraparound for it right now. Yeah, that's an old wheel horse C81 hood that was pretty bad. Sacrifice. And that's actually a Sears hitch plate. Show y'all how to bend stuff if you don't have a metal brake, which most people don't. As long as you got it secured and you got a nice sharp edge or whatever style of edge you want, clamp it on each side, you can just fold this over and even knock it with a hammer. This additional plate right here keeps it from bulging up on you. So, can you hear me now? That compressor, woo! But that's acceptable. Gonna roll with it. I didn't show you the bottom welds. There's a couple of ding balls there. But we'll grind her up and we'll just blast a little bit of paint on it and send her. Hey, turn it the right way. We're gonna go ahead and send this video out. The engine is in. Got the oil filter mounted. We gotta get some more lines. But everything's coming along. Not a lot of good places to put that filter. Up front was the original plan, but the heat from the engine blows right on it. And when you're running something that's already getting hot oil, you don't want to do that. Let me show you folks something. Got a couple of shims here. Let me pick up the phone a second. Got the Oppie on. If you watch, engine rocks just a little bit. I think I've got this motor mount just a hair low. Whatever the case may be, this is something you want to watch, folks. Can you just tighten this down if it's just a little bit like this? Yeah, probably. But now you are using this aluminum to pull this steel into place. Not a good idea. Make yourself some shims. Get your shims in there, and you want to minimize that amount of rock so you're not putting any stress on this aluminum. It's a good way to break a block. That was a very common thing with the old 5-horse Briggs carts with the gas tank and the integrated carburetor and gas tank together. Down at the little bottom, you'd have a little gap and guys would just tighten that up. That's how you bust a carburetor. So, you know, this is the stuff you got to take your time with. Got the battery box in there and done. Got a nice amount of beef up on it. That wouldn't have anything to do with somebody making a mistake and the battery box was too far back and the clutch was hitting it inside here, the internals. No, that was on purpose. I did that on purpose. So anyhow, let's spin this phone around. We'll go ahead and get this video sent out because the next video is going to be pretty much final assembly. Hope you all enjoyed. Hope you really enjoyed that 20 minutes of BS. I tried to speed it up. Hopefully that worked out for you. Thanks again, folks, for tuning in. Always nice to see the likes and the comments and everything down there below. I don't even know if this is in my face right now. Come on, help me out here. Get me a new potato holder. Yeah. Captain 315. Till next time.